Hi guys, Scotty here with another DBZ Dokkan battle video, and today we're going to be taking a look at the 6th year EZAs and how they're performing in the current content. Are they doing alright? Have they turned into a little bit of glass cannons? Have they fallen off? Or are they just absolutely smashing through everything? So these units were released, the 6th year EZAs were released in the 9th anniversary. So they've had just over a year to sort of stew and be pretty dominant the entire time. You've been able to throw them on any team pretty much. They've been able to lead their teams. They just work. And I want to check out if they're still with the 220% leads and with the advent of battle-hardened formidable foes as well as harder red zones, how they are performing. So let's take a look together and let's jump right into first red zones and see how they're doing in quite a difficult red zone event. Just a quick cheeky reminder, if that you're new to the channel or you haven't subscribed yet, please do so, and if you wouldn't mind leaving a like just to help me with the YouTube gods. Thanks, on to the video. So all the content you're going to see here is being done with this team on the right here, a Universal Survival Saga team, being run with the Super Saiyan Blue Evolved STR Vegeta as the lead, so full 220%. My Goku has a single dupe in it, and my Vegeta has 2 dupes in them, and they're both link level 10. For everything. So that's just what stats we're going to be looking at and how we're going to be looking at them perform here today. So you're going to see me put them in slot 1 a lot. I'm just testing them out as much as possible. I try to put them in bad situations. Obviously I'm not going to go into any events where there is dodge cancelling or anything for Goku, because that is pretty much, that's his thing, he needs to dodge. And yeah, the way that they perform is going to depend completely on what type of content you put them into. So red zone versus battle hardened formidable foes, they're going to be different in there. Obviously the battle hardened formidable foes have a immediate, just straight out the gate, very big damage generally, whereas red zone you can kind of get a little bit of leeway in the beginning for most of the red zones. Obviously this one that we're doing for most of the content in red zones is going to be the stage 6 of the Goku story red zone, the physical Frieza into golden Frieza event. So turn 1, not really a problem for Goku. Obviously he's going to always just guarantee dodge in that first turn, but Vegeta can have a bit of a problem if you put him in the first slot, and it is immediate very high level damage, because he obviously needs to take some hits to build up his damage reduction. So 1 or 2 hits and he's generally going to be fine. He's going to be getting that 10, 20, 30% extra damage reduction, and that is also attacks received or evaded, so building him for dodge is totally okay. He's got that base damage reduction of 50% as well as guard on his first turn, so that does somewhat protect him. 50% damage reduction with guard before he takes a hit generally should be fine. I have seen him take some gnarly numbers before he's built up, but that's usually supers and like battle formidable foes sort of thing. So let's talk about Goku mainly first. So Goku's going to be wanting to dodge pretty much everything at this point. For most of the high damage events, he's going to just die if he doesn't dodge. So 77% is a very high chance to dodge already, plus that obviously that additional 7% he gets per evasion. But that first turn is great, guaranteed dodge, but then from there on out, putting him in slot 1 is playing a bit of a game, a bit of a coin toss. It's not quite a coin toss because it's not a 50-50 by any mean, but if you do miss that chance, I mean, you're going to take a 500,000k normal with him. So he has pretty much become dodge or die at this point. Luckily he does have that revival mechanic built in, but it is ever so slightly restrictive with the fact that you already need to be 77% under HP before you can activate it the turn. So if you die in 1 hit from full HP, too bad, you're not going to be reviving in that turn with Goku. Vegeta doesn't quite have that restriction. He's got another one where Vegeta just needs to take 5 hits, and then from then on out, if anyone in the turn is KO'd, he will be able to revive. And then obviously Goku, once he does revive, once you get that revive skill off, you're going to have guaranteed dodge again for the next attacking turn when he comes around. And a bunch of other, so he's going to get Ki +7 and attack and defense for 77, so he should be hitting even harder afterwards. Now, Goku is doing really well, and obviously when he doesn't need to be, when he's not in events that are dodge cancelling, he's doing really well. So you just got to be careful about taking him into certain events, because if there is dodge cancelling, he is absolute fodder. He's dead in high level events, unless you bring along, even if you do bring along that Tech UI Goku, he's only going to be providing that domain later on, so it's not really going to matter for you. It's not going to matter going in and he's going to take damage and he's going to die. Yeah, so So this was actually a perfect situation for Vegeta in slot 1 there. Luckily, Frieza gives us the 3 hits we need to get to that 80% damage reduction in turn, and then he supers us afterwards. So we take absolutely no damage. This is a situation where Vegeta is going to be like perfect. As long as you can take a little bit of damage before having to take a massive super or something, you're going to be absolutely fine with him. So you've kind of seen everything go right. I'm just skipping to another run here quickly so you can see when things just don't really go right, specifically with Goku here. So go to put him in slot 1, pop the, got the Vegeta, the Goku and Frieza unit at the end there, get some heals or something. That's all good. Pop Goku's active here quickly to get a bit of extra damage, and yeah, he's type disadvantaged, so yeah, everything sitting pretty here. Gonna get some dodges in, and that's not quite what happens, unfortunately. 600k dead. So that can just happen. I'm not blaming the unit for me having bad luck, but it does send you back to the loading screen if you miss like a single. I was only could survive one dodge there, and then just the second time in a row, just insta-died. So after that, after dying in that run from UI Goku, I was like, oh, can't happen again. There's no way. And yeah, unfortunately, he decided 77% chance to dodge was just not good, and then 2.6 million super. So yeah, that was 2 in a row. I thought that was quite funny while I was recording this. You can actually check me go. You can see here, I was like, no, that Frieza doesn't have... That Frieza doesn't have dodge cancelling, right? And I was like, no. I got that unlucky 2 rows in a row. I think this was back to back. So I was like, this guy must have dodge cancelling or something. Anyway, so it's just to show what can go wrong there. Now, just to talk a little bit more about Vegeta, I know I've made like the last 5-6 minutes purely about Goku for the yappery, so sorry, but now just to chat a little bit about Vegeta. I just find I don't have as many problems with Vegeta. Like, obviously, he's got that innate 50% damage reduction, which itself is not really going to save you from much in these red zone events. I mean, if you're getting hit for 3 million, you're getting 50% DR is 1.5 million that you're going to get. But he is also greatly raising his defense on Super. It doesn't really help, obviously, with as a first slot as the tanks up front, but he does build up a little bit his defense, well, more his attack and defense. For every attack he does up to 110%. So his defense can get up to like 700, 800, 900,000, which is great. Now you can see here he's built up his 3 stacks in need, so he's got 80% damage reduction plus his defense, and he still does take a bit there. 237 is nothing, but I mean that's less than half of what Goku received when he misses. So I just find Vegeta is a little bit more consistent. Obviously, if we had just been supered right off the bat there, and only with 50% damage reduction, we would have just died straight up. But yeah, so yeah, Vegeta's also got his own set of little, okay, this needs to happen, otherwise you're going to die sort of things. His own coin flip. I don't want to call it a coin flip though, because that implies 50-50. Whereas if the boss had just supered right off the rip there and doesn't give us a chance for those normals, then yeah, it's going to be a problem. But I do still find Vegeta sells fewer runs for me than Goku. I'm feeling like he is aging a little bit better than Goku. I know the dodge is just 0 damage, but then it's 0 death. Whereas Vegeta, you can survive a couple of mistakes here or there. Yeah, so that's just it. I just find him a little bit more consistent, and you could see him tank a super there. So jumping ahead a little bit again to the next rotation where Vegeta came around, I've got them both on rotation together here again, and we can see the consequences of not getting all 3 hits in. I think we get 1 hit, so we had 60% damage reduction, and then straight into super that Frieza's giving us. And here we can see that he still doesn't quite die. It is a bit more damage, obviously, because we were missing 20% damage reduction there, but again, that's quite survivable. It was a bit closer to what Goku took earlier, which was 490,000. No, I think it was 590,000, sorry, so it's still actually quite a bit under. But so yeah, that you can see why I'm saying I find Vegeta a little bit more consistent. There are more moments where Vegeta survives knockouts than Goku. Plus, once you take those 5 hits, which you want to take hits every time anyway, you are fully primed the entire time to go into your revival skill in that turn if you die, whereas Goku's got the whole 77%. And we actually take another super here after we've done our attacks. I think we just do this for double digits if I remember correctly. Yeah, once he's done 2 or 3 attacks, he can he's greatly raised his defense, and he will take double digits, as well as he would have then taken more normals for more damage reduction. And you can see Goku's damage popping off there a little bit, 26 million, then an 18 million. So by no means is he got no damage behind him. He is a great unit, still doing a lot of damage and a lot of crits. And then once he's done his 2-3 dodges, he's pretty much going to be dodging everything else. So moving on to battle-hardened formidable foes, I think this is kind of where these units can shine a little bit more. It does help units that that are not designed for such long events, or have shorter like intros and things like that. So Goku, why it helps is because these guys turn 1 conditions where Goku guarantee dodges, or Vegeta has guard on his first turn. You get to make use of those 4 times in the total fight. Because obviously when you're done a boss, you move into the next one, everything resets to turn 1. So you do get a bit more value out of them. You're going to be able to get those first conditions 4 times in a total battle. It is a little bit offset by the fact that these bosses can hit incredibly hard very quickly as well. So Vegeta can be a little bit more of a problem here, because he needs to get his 3 hits in, and 1 or 2 of those hits might do massive damage to him. I'll jump to the section here quickly. So jumping ahead here to showing you what happens to Vegeta when he takes a super in here. Now, look, this is not really fair. There's not many units that survive these supers in this game. This mode is supposed to be played with items. Anyway, you look at it. They give you 4 item slots. They clearly intended you to use items to help these units. But I was just like, let's see what happens against type disadvantage, and just slapping him in slot 1. Just show off what he can do. So I don't want anyone to think I'm saying, oh, he's bad because he didn't tank this. There's not going to be very many units that are going to tank this type disadvantage in battle. Hardened formidable foes, especially units where the EZAs are like a year old. So yeah, but just to show you that this is worst case, super right off the bat, no build up, no nothing, and it's early on and a crit. So I mean, that's just death for Vegeta right there. So this is where it's going to come down to what I said earlier, where I said that the performance is going to depend on the content there. And so you can see here in the same situation, Goku doesn't care because he's just going to dodge. I know that there was a chance for him not to dodge there, but I mean, for Vegeta that was guaranteed death, whereas for Goku there's a very big chance that you are not going to worry about it. So yeah, just his performance in battle, hardened formidable foes, I find him a bit more consistent than Vegeta in these sort of things. So yeah, now there is something to be said about items and using items, because if you're doing this event, you're going to be using items. Obviously there are no item runs, but majority of people will be using items to get through this difficult content. So Vegeta benefits more from the typical items that you're going to use in these fights. Why do I say that? Vegeta has a base 50% damage reduction. Now that's not good. You saw that didn't really matter much when we hit a really big super and we just got destroyed before we could get built up. But 50% plus 40% from say a Whis, or 35% from an Icarus, is 85 or 90% damage reduction. Now Vegeta is pretty much untouchable. Then he's going to be so strong as a slot 1. Whereas with Goku, it's because he has no other defensive mechanics besides dodging, he's just going to receive a flat 40% damage reduction from, say, a Whis, let's say, for instance. So if he gets hit by a 2.5-3 million attack, and he's got a little bit of defense, maybe he's built up a bit, he's going to be taking a whack ton more damage than, say, Vegeta would. So that's what I mean when I say I feel like Vegeta gets more value out of the item usage in this event. So they do have their own pros and cons. I'm sure that it is by design and it's made them interesting to play with. Goku can be a lot of fun because it's a bit of a risk. Vegeta's more consistent, but then not so much in, say, these events without items, but then Vegeta gets more value out of items compared to, say, Goku in here, because if Goku misses his dodge, 40% damage reduction is very likely not going to save you regardless. You'd have to double up for that to really matter. Okay, so it's been a lot of me talking. This video has gotten very long. If you're still here, thank you for watching. That's awesome. Listening to me yap about these two the whole time. So in conclusion, what I want to say, and you might notice this video is a re-upload. I got a couple of things wrong in the beginning of the video. I keep referring to them as the 7th year anniversary EZAs, which I just got my wires completely crossed. These are the 6th year EZAs that were released in the 9th year anniversary. So yeah, I just thought I'd re-upload, fix the slides and the audio in the beginning. And I wanted to be a little bit more nuanced in sort of my conclusions. I had some people point some stuff out to me and disagree, and I'm absolutely all for that. I think maybe saying that they've fallen off is not fair. In my head, I was more implying that they have a little bit, they're not obviously as good as they were on release, and that's going to happen anyway. So to answer the question, have they fallen off? No, I don't think they've fallen off, and they're unusable at all. That's not at all what I was trying to get at. What I was trying to get at is that the progression of the content that's now around and how much more difficult the content is around. We've gone from these units being nigh untouchable. I mean, they were just pretty much a staple in any difficult event. It was throw these guys on there, most crazy rotation, and just watch them obliterate everything, and you didn't even think about damage. You weren't going to worry about Vegeta taking damage, or Goku. Even if Goku missed a dodge, he had 900,000 damage to back it up after his supers and that, so he was absolutely fine. He wouldn't really take damage. But in today's day and age, in today's content, I think they have just very slightly tapered off a little bit towards the end. They are still amazing units, and you should put all resources into getting them if you don't have them, EZA them, and let them crush events. And it was just a lot of fun actually to put them up against some very difficult events, put them in some dodgy situations, and just kind of see how they performed. So yeah, in conclusion, I love these units. I don't think they've fallen off in that definition of the word, and I think they are aging very, very well, and I think they'll continue to do so for a long time. I think Goku will probably be around forever because of how much dodge he can do, and it's just dodge cancelling that's going to be an issue for him. And Vegeta, I mean, 80% DR after a couple of hits is always going to be incredible. The problem will just be how damage scales to allow him to take those hits without dying in the future. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you guys have a good one, and I will hopefully check you in the next one.